Illicit trade is a big structural problem. Every day there is contraband of cigarettes. Every day there is shipments of counterfeit goods in small parcels. Every day there is customs seizing illicit alcohol or pesticides. This is an everyday problem.
Ports are main hubs for the global economy, but they have a big security issue. Criminals are just like water, you know, they flow where the money is. Whether they choose one port or another is just a matter of time. My name is Erwin Rademaker. I'm working at the Port of Rotterdam on long-term innovations. At the port we are very keen to make sure that regular logistics are being handled very efficient, but also to make sure that things that don't belong in society are kept out. The Port of Rotterdam is the biggest port in Europe. Every year, more than 130,000 sea vessels are coming in. So every 6 minutes, a ship is coming in or sailing out of this port.
Global supply chains have been evolving in a fascinating way. I saw once a map of production of a pair of sneakers. At least 5 countries were involved, and we moved from one mode to another: truck, ship, another ship, train, truck, to a final destination. Similar maps can be drawn for any product that surrounds us. Globalization made transporting products much more complex and also introduced opportunities for criminals to infiltrate these production channels.
There are goods being put into the container that don't belong there. Counterfeit goods.
It's a flood of counterfeit toys, some described as lethal.
Narcotics.
Hidden behind those crates, 3,200 pounds of cocaine.
Human trafficking and even weapons.
Criminal gangs are hiding smuggled goods indoors, packaged tabletops, even disguised as cabling, and the illegal trade is on the rise.
It is today virtually impossible to open every single shipment. If you are an enforcement officer facing a container ship with 20,000 containers coming to a harbor, staying there for half a day, and then leaving, you have very little time to do your checks effectively.
In fact, we have come across cases in which corruption of law enforcement agencies, transportation and logistic company owners, and customs officers have been heavily involved in illegal trade.
Take a look at those containers. That crew filled 7 of them with $1 billion worth of cocaine.
Unfortunately, despite the fact that we are in the 21st century and modern technologies are around us, in many cases, documents are still issued on paper. What's in the container? Who owns it? Who bought it? Who are the key parties involved in the trade? And what is the value of this good? Criminals change the shipping manifests, cleans the documents to make sure that these goods will enter the final destination safely. Every discussion usually ends up with a question: what next? What can we do?
We have to make the port sector and the container logistics sector smart. 85% of the goods you see around you have been shipped by a container. There are approximately 20 million containers in the world. In the past, the containers became very successful because they are standardized. So every container has the exact same dimensions and can be handled everywhere, whether it's in South America, in Africa, or here in Rotterdam. But containers are very dumb objects. They can't tell you anything about their status, where they are secured or not, when they are opened or not. So imagine you have this container being filled up with iPhones, and this is the only thing you can lock your container with. They are put on the outside of the container, so you can easily remove them. Open the container, swap things, close the container. Nobody will know unless you get an alert from a smart container. Container 42 represents the smart port of the future on a container level, and we hope to launch it worldwide. This container is able to smell, it can hear, it can see. And I wanted to use a lock that could be locked from the inside, so no one could compromise that lock. And it has all these sensors and tools to communicate with the outside world and send out alerts. In the human world, we can look away from things and not report it. In the digital world, that's not possible. We have to standardize our communication, our equipment, etc. for the future. That is the big issue with getting this sector smart.
No single country can cope with this problem on its own, but all countries can win if working together. Countering illicit trade is an action against criminals, because at the end of the day, it's all citizens losing.
We don't know what we're gonna experience or invent for the future. We only know that we have to take on this journey for the next generation. The big question is, who is the leader?